Hey everyone, welcome back. Another video. Today we're going to edit this shot. I took this a couple days ago with my new Sony a7 III. So we are going to edit this. It's just a single shot, no HDR. It was a pretty overcast day, so got really nice even lighting on the car. I had my polarizer on, so there's no reflections in the windshield. You can see the settings up here. So I shot this at ISO 125 at about 200 millimeters, f2.8, and the shutter speed was 1/800th of a second. So even though it was pretty overcast, it was still a fairly bright day. Let's jump into it. So now we're over in the develop panel. I don't know that there's a lot that we're going to do in Lightroom here. Some of the things that I want to touch on in Photoshop are, I kind of want the sides to mirror. So where I was shooting, there's like a residential area to this side of the street, and then there's desert to this side. So I think it would look better if it's more cohesive and they match. So I think what we're going to do is probably take this side of the frame and bring it over here. Another thing, I was shooting for the line going straight down the middle of the car. Looks like I missed that a little bit, so we'll try to fix that. Other than that, I think maybe bring out some clarity in the car, probably darken down the sky in the foreground to bring some attention to the middle of the car, since everything's kind of the same tone right now. You got the grays here and you got the grays in the sky here. So I think let's just jump into it. I think just starting out in Lightroom here, I think I might just bump up the clarity a little bit, but I think that's it for now. I think we'll do some adjustments in Camera Raw once we get into Photoshop and we start moving some of this stuff around. So let's just jump over there and edit in Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop. So I touched on some of this stuff just a second ago, but I think what we want to do first is let's make a new layer. So we'll hit Command J, and that's just going to duplicate that layer. The next thing we want to do is let's address this area here and just get that to match up. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to come up here to our rectangular marquee tool, and we're just going to take a selection of half of the frame. So once we have that, we're going to hit Command J, and then that's going to put that on a new layer. So you can see what we did here. We just made a new layer with that selection. So what we want to do is we want to hit Command T, and then we're going to go to flip horizontal. And then we're just going to move that over. If you hold down your Shift key, it'll constrain it so it keeps it straight. And then you can do one of two things here. So if you want the car to be perfectly symmetrical, what you can do is you could line that up so it looks like the car is perfectly symmetrical left to right. So that gives a pretty good look to the car, and it keeps it about the same width that it was before. You can see that with the angle, it changes a little bit. So what you could do is you could come in here. Let's turn this back on. You could lower the opacity, and then we can move that top layer so the mirrors line up. So then you have about the same width of the car. So we could go back in, bring that opacity up, and now you can see everything is mirrored side to side. Now you have some funny stuff down here because you have double badges, you have kind of this double thing here, you also have double on the windshield banner. So what you could do is you could come in, make a layer mask, just a regular layer mask that's white, and then you could go in, zoom into the car, and you could go in and you could paint out that stuff. So if you get your brush tool and you paint in black, you could go through and start painting back those areas. So now you can see we got the steering wheel back, we got our windshield banner back, and then if we go in here, we can paint out the extra pulley, and we went a little bit too far here. And then you can come down here and do the same thing with the badge. We probably want to do that same thing on the front here. And down here as well. So you just don't want to make it look like you copied the other side over. But as you can see, now the car is perfectly symmetrical. Our background's perfectly symmetrical. Almost too much though. So if you look at this, you can tell that it was copied over because we have the same rocks over here as we have over here. We have double things here. And then also the bushes side to side. So what you want to do if you end up going this route, you want to go in and you want to hide some of that so it's not as noticeable. So if we go with our brush tool in here, we'll make it a little bit bigger and maybe bring back the flow a little bit. And then we'll just go back in here and paint some randomness into this area. So we're just revealing some of that underlying layer. So if you look what we've done, if you look at this now, I mean, you still have some mirroring effects up here that we need to take care of, but from side to side here, you have some different vegetation on this side, so it gives it some randomness, like it's not copied over. So we'll go up to the sky and let's do the same thing up here. So we're just painting in black. We'll come down here. Let's paint back some of this stuff. Now, this is one thing that I didn't want to bring back in, is that telephone pole. So we're gonna have to fix that. But let's get rid of this thing in the middle here. So I think that looks fine for now. The other thing, if you didn't want to clone the car straight over, like I did, what you could do is you could do the same thing. So we could take the selection, we could go in the middle. So Command J again, Command T to free transform, then we're going to go flip horizontal. We'll move this over. We just really want this area here. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. This time let's make a black mask. And then we'll go in here with our brush tool. And we can just paint out all of this stuff. So then you're just bringing in the background from the other side, and then you don't have to worry about any of the car. So we'll just kind of get this laid in here where we want. And then we'll go back and we'll worry about kind of blending that back in. So we'll hit X and we'll come in and we just want to make this look kind of natural. I think that hiding that tree in there worked pretty well. And then I think bringing back some of this stuff in here. Helped give it a little bit of randomness, but still. And the other thing you can do is you can move this, so if that's not really working out 100%, like you can move it to there maybe. Alright, so that kind of takes care of this area over here and helps clean up some of those trees. Kind of helps the sides match a little bit more. We'll go in and get rid of this and kind of clean this up in a bit, but something else that I really wanted to touch on was I didn't get the yellow lines like directly in the middle of the car. They're ever so slightly off. So let's look at how we're gonna fix that really fast. And I think an easy way to do that is going to be, let's first bring out a guide. So if you go over here to this ruler on the side and you pull from that, you click and just drag, you can pull out a guide. And we'll just put this right in the middle of the car. And you can see we're a little bit off. So the center of the car is roughly right there, but you can see that like this side's a little bit over further. And I think that that's kind of what this showed here, is with the camera angle and everything. It was like the road was leaning or something, and it was just a little off. But that's the first step that I would do, is to pull out a guide. All right, so now let's address this front asphalt area here and try to get this line lined up with the center of the car. So the first thing we want to do is pull out a guide. So what you want to do is come over here. We're going to click on this ruler and just click and drag. And that's going to pull out a guide, and that's going to give us kind of a center point that we're going to work off of. So let's call this our center point for the car. The next thing we want to do is let's make a selection on the bottom asphalt here. So we'll just go ahead and select that. We're going to go down and click on layer 1, and then we're going to hit Command J again. So we're going to bring this layer to the top. So now essentially what we've done is we've made a copy of this bottom area. Now what that's going to allow us to do is that's going to allow us to kind of nudge that over. So if we grab our move tool here, we can use our arrows and we can just push that over ever so slightly. So now you can see our lines are right in the middle, right in the center of that guide that we pulled out. And now what we want to do is, if we zoom in, we can see, maybe, we can see this kind of sharp line right here that we created, and also right here. So we want to go ahead and get rid of that. So what we're going to do, and also you can see we kind of pulled the front of the bumper here a little bit, which is weird. So we want to go ahead and take care of all of that stuff. So we're going to make a mask on there. We're going to go grab our brush tool, and we're going to go over here, and we're just going to paint with a soft brush in black. And we just want to paint right around all of that stuff to help blend it in. And around here, we want to make sure that we fill all of this 100% because we don't want any weird stuff going on with the front of the car. But here's the tricky thing, is we don't want to get too deep into here and bring back that yellow line that was off. So we're going to hit X, we're going to go back into black, and we're just going to paint right over that. And we'll zoom out and we'll do the same thing over here to get rid of that line. So let's make our brush a little bit bigger. Let's switch back to black as we want to hide it. And we're just going to go in here and we're going to paint. So if we shut off all the layers underneath, you can see what we did. So we could probably come in here and lighten this up a little bit more. And then if we turn all of those back on, you can see everything blends in nicely, so you can't tell that we moved it over, but now the street is in line with that. So we just shifted it over a little bit, so now the center of the focus comes straight up the middle, straight into the car. So now if you don't want this blue line in here, what you do is just go to View, come up here and click on Clear Guides. This also helps if you're trying to figure out if things are in line. So you can pull horizontal lines. So if you want to see if the bottom of the car is straight, which ours looks like it's a little off. So if you leave a guide here, you can see we probably need to rotate everything a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's click our crop tool, and then we're just going to rotate it ever so slightly. We'll hit enter. And then you can see the guide doesn't move, but the canvas behind it does. So once this is cropped, you can see we're a little bit better off now. So this gap here to this gap here is quite a bit better. So let's go back here. Let's clear that guide. And then let's work on this, getting rid of this pole. And this actually will be pretty easy because things are out of focus back here. And what we can do is we can just come in here, click on this area of the mountain, and we can just go in and kind of paint that through. One thing that you want to do is you want to select some different areas just so you don't get repeating patterns. And then maybe we'll hide this little tree right back in here. So the idea is just to make it look random and to try to hide those patterns as much as you can. And then I think the same thing with here. We don't need a big yellow caution sign, so we can come down into here, just select that, pull that up for a little bit, and then come over here and maybe paint in some of these little bushes. And then the same thing works for getting rid of some of these dust spots on the ground, some of these small rocks if you don't want these. This, I would just use the healing brush tool. So from there, let's go ahead and crop in a little bit, making sure kind of everything's still centered. We'll hit enter. And now let's go into, actually before we do that, let's make a merge visible layer. So Command Option Shift and E. And then we're going to go into filter and we're going to go into camera raw. And here's where we're going to pull some of those gradients down, darken the top and bottom, and maybe work on the color a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is make sure everything's zeroed out. So we'll bring this back in. And then let's pull a linear gradient from the bottom to the top, about halfway. And let's bring the exposure of this down. I think that's good. We don't really need to worry about sharpening or anything on there, but let's do the same thing from the top. And here's kind of up to whatever you're going for. You can add some blue if you want. So if you want it to look more like a sunny day. So this day was really cloudy. It was really overcast. It was completely gray sky. So if you wanted to add some blue back into that, you could bring your temperature slider over into the blue, or we could leave it kind of gray and overcast like it was. And you can see if you wanted to bring some more gray into that and make it mesh with the car a little bit, you can bring the saturation down. I think let's make it look like it was more of a sunny day. So let's bring the blue in a little bit. And then I think what we want to do is let's add some overall clarity and contrast just for the car. And maybe we will do this, pull out a radial gradient over the car. So we have that blue in from the top. And we also don't want to make this darker. We actually want to make it a little bit brighter. And maybe pull the shadows up just a bit. And maybe give it some contrast. And let's also bring up the sharpness. I think the next thing I want to do is come over here to our detail. And let's bring up sharpening. Hold down your option and slide your mask. That way you can see what you're sharpening. We really just want to focus on the lines of the car. Next, let's get these yellow lines to pop a little bit. So we can do that through this tool. So this is our saturation, luminance, and hue. So let's pull the saturation over on the yellow. And then also we can change if we want the yellow to be darker or we want it to be brighter. I think we want it to be darker. And then the hue, if you wanted to, you could change it to more orange color, or we can leave it alone. I think I'm going to pull it a little bit more towards the orange. And I think that's all we're going to do in here. So let's go ahead and commit that. We'll click OK. So let's look at before and after. So you can see it just brings the attention into the car quite a bit more. And then if we look at our before and after, so you can see we shifted that road over. We made the sides match a little bit better. And I think that's pretty good for our final image. So, I mean, that was just a quick edit. Basically, the thing that I wanted to show you was if you mess up and you don't align something, how you can use your copy and transform tools to realign everything, and how you can use guides to make sure that everything in the image is straight and kind of true. So hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you found some tips useful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Until next time, take care.